Things Gary does.
So a long time ago, right after the great city of Atlantis first sunk beneath the waves, and the surviving inhabitants of the city were getting used to living at the bottom of the sea and becoming accustomed to their new life here, there was a man named Zach, and he was a barber. And he was a barber before the city sank, and he was a barber after the city sank. Now, he was not any regular barber, but the royal barber. And every day he would go to the king and shave his beard and shave his hair with his little scissors and little razor. And that's what he did every day, is he shaved the royal family and shaved a few other notable subjects in the city every once in a while. But it wasn't before long before Zach grew very tired of trimming the same heads of hair every week and every day all the time. And so one day Zach decided to take a walk outside the city along the sea floor. Now, everyone was still getting accustomed to the fact that somehow they were able to now breathe underwater here in Atlantis. It was sort of just the magic of the place. So Zach is walking along the sea floor, thinking about how much he does not want to shave the king's face one more time. And he's walking, and off in the distance, and this is before the ocean is as we know it now, there were two great shapes off in the distance that were slowly coming towards him, and it looked like they were composed of some sort of fog or smoke, very wavy kind of creatures that hovered just above the sea floor. And they were coming very lumbering and very close, and he didn't feel alarmed. It was just very curious, and he sat and watched as they came closer and came closer until they were quite close to him. And he looked closer and he saw that it wasn't a smoke cloud or anything like that, but two great creatures. But they were giant balls of hair, just lots and lots of hair covering their entire body. They looked like big balls of fluff, really, underneath the ocean. And it was very difficult for him to understand why such a creature would exist under the ocean. And so he merely stood there for a moment and stared. And they came close, and they stopped, and then they stared right back. They had these little tiny black eyes that he could barely see. Every once in a while the hair would move away from their eyes. And they stared at each other for a moment until one of them spoke. "Hello, Zach. We've heard of you and your culture, who have just come down to the seafloor." And Zach is, "How do you know me? I've never seen you before." "Well, we've heard of you, Zach. We think that you can help us." And Zach is thinking, well, they are covered in hair, and I am a barber. And the creatures go, "You see, while we are creatures of the ocean, and we are great and noble creatures, we have a very difficult life. We are slowed down by all this hair that we have on our body, that we can rarely catch fish, and our people are dying. We will soon be extinct if we do not find a better way to live. And mostly, we are simply slowed down by all of this hair, and we need the help of you, a barber, to help us become faster, so that we may catch fish for our children." And Zach seems, this is very sensible, but Zach, remembering why he's taking a walk in the first place, says, "Well, I understand your plight, but you see, the thing about hair is that it grows back, and you see, I have plenty of hair to shave so far, and I don't believe I could keep up with an entire species for you. While I am sorry for your species' plight, but I don't think I can help you here." And the creatures look at each other and go, "Well, we believe we have a solution to that problem as well." And somehow out of the hair falls this little piece of coral that just drops. And Zach comes over and he picks up the piece of coral and finds that it is roughly scissors shaped, and it has got a blade on the one end for a razor. And he's looking at it, and they say, "We have found these razors and this scissors, and we have found that the hair that they shave remains shaved forever. And Zach looks incredulously at this instrument and says, "How is that possible?" "There are many magical things in the ocean here, Zach. All we ask of you now is to use these scissors on me, on our species. We are the only two left, so you only need to shave us. And all of our children from here on out will be hairless. And we will again be able to catch fish, practically." And Zach looks at the scissors and thinks that tomorrow could be the last time that he has to shave the king's beard. And he gets very excited. And in a moment he just says, "Yes, I will absolutely do this for you." Overjoyed, the beasts merely grunt and, "Oh, yes, 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 yes." And Zach sets to work very quickly. And he starts clipping off all the hair, and he starts shaving different parts of the body, and he's finding that there's just so much hair, but he's so excited that he just doesn't care. He's just cutting and cutting and cutting until he finally gets down to actual bodies of the creatures, and their actual flesh is very smooth and sort of scaly, weird. It's very strange. And as he's shaving off, he finds little fins here and there on the sides, and finds the gills of the creature, and starts to shave the top of the body and finds more fins, and finally shaves off the heads. And he's in such a frenzy that he's not really paying attention. He's so close that he's just shaving off all the hair of these two creatures until finally he's exhausted. But he steps back and he looks, and his eyes get wide, and he goes, What creatures? What are you called?" And the two creatures turn. They have great, grinning, wide rows of sharp teeth, and they say, "Sharks."
Things done.
So much noise. Murr.